and won Madison's Funniest Comic in 2013. So make some noise for David Fisher!
Good evening. I'm David Fisher. I'm funny. I'll apparently be performing jazz sax at an adult contemporary band later this evening. You ever pick a booger and there's a nose hair in it? And you think, ew, I can't eat that. I'm not antisocial, I just act that way around other people. To me, other people are like oxygen, in that sex is more enjoyable without any. I consider my friends a privileged few. Few in the sense that there aren't many of them, and privileged in the sense that they're all white. I read Cosmo the same way I read the Bible. I don't. But that doesn't stop me from citing it in arguments with gay dudes. I'm a Christian, but I'm not a hardcore Christian. I'm a softcore Christian. What that means is you never actually get to see the Holy Spirit moving inside me. Anytime you see an eyeball, just an eyeball somewhere rolling around, it always looks really surprised. And it probably was, come to think of it. Because it probably did not expect to not be in a head. But that's not how it turned out for this particular eyeball. It's out there rolling free now, all on its own. Parents stopped paying for college, so it has to work at a fucking Walgreens, tell jokes in a shitty comedy club. So I work at a Walgreens. The other day, a couple guys come in, plop 2 packs of note cards on the counter, and the total comes to $3.15 and 14 cents. And I say, your total is pie. And they say, what? And I say, you're gonna need more note cards. I think it's a cruel irony that the more you like math, the less likely you are to multiply. The other day, my manager, for some reason, decided to tell me about getting angry at a transsexual. I don't know why. It was just like, I was out at a restaurant the other day and there was this lady there, but when I looked, it turned out it wasn't a lady, it was a man in a dress, and I got mad. Because she must have been trying to trick people. 2 things. First, in his mind, this lady really commits to a prank. Like the whole night, in her mind, she's just thinking, this is gonna be so great. This is gonna be awesome. Second, I don't really see why that would make you angry. Like, in his mind, in the worst case scenario, where he goes out and he hits on a woman and they go back to his place or whatever and they start to make out, and then it turns out she has a penis. That's what he's afraid of happening. Why would you be angry? I'd be like, in that situation, wouldn't you be relieved? Like, oh, thank God. This I know what to do with. I'm not gonna be fumbling around tonight. I'm gonna get right straight to business. Strap in, woman, watch the wizard. I've been traded for this ship my whole life. So there's a term you see on the internet these days called social justice warrior. And that's, people use that to describe, to be like, oh, that guy is just complaining about racism. Like, if your biggest problem, like, I've never heard that term be used followed by something really thoughtful. Like, anytime anybody uses it, it might as well be like saying, like, well, here's the thing about the Jews. Never something fun follows. Like, oh, that's nice. Like, if your biggest problem with the internet is there are people on it trying to make it less racist, well, for starters, you must not be familiar with all of the My Little Pony pornography, most of which is terrible. So, one thing that's been going around that I've been hearing a lot these days is that men can't understand what it's like to be a woman because a woman has to always be on guard. Like, every time a woman meets a man, they have to, in their mind, they have to think about what a threat that man presents. And it's true that men don't have to do that, but it's not true that men don't understand that, because we do that anyway. Like, I have never been in a fight in my entire life. Every man I've met, I always decide whether I could beat him in a fight. There are 108 men in here. I could beat up 74. Individually, not if they all ganged up on me. But I don't know why they would do that. Maybe I fucked all their moms. Unlikely, yes. Impossible, no. Old people like me. They sense they smell the oatmeal on my breath, and they sense that I'm one of them. Give me adequate motivation and, like, a nose clip. I could have sex with 80-year-old women tonight. If you're keeping track, that was like one for every guy who I could beat in a fight, plus 6 left over. Maybe like a book club or something. This week we'll be looking at Toni Morrison's Beloved and David Fisher's penis. My penis is kind of like racism. Lots of people say it doesn't exist. But it's real and it's awful. And I just hope children never have to see it. So, moving on to politics. There's only 2 presidents in history who have managed to end their term of office with a surplus rather than a deficit, and that's Bill Clinton and Andrew Jackson. Both Democrats, so the whole tax and spend Democrat thing is bullshit, for starters. Second of all, that's not the thing you think of when you think of either of those guys. Like, with Clinton, you know, you think of the stained dress and all the whole Monica Lewinsky thing. And with Jackson, you probably think of the Trail of Tears, you know, the forced Indian relocation, which is really sad. What's sad to me is that you have these 2, you know, potentially great U.S. presidents whose legacies was tarnished by Seminole fluids. That was a really long way to go to get somewhere awful. Which makes that joke an excellent metaphor for the Trail of Tears. You know, when I started my career, I was just doing puns about semen, but clearly I've come a long way. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
What a beautiful, beautiful man, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for David Fisher. That was amazing. Give it up for...